I really like this map. I'm a big
It is
fan.
one of the shorter maps to run if you're trying to farm a specific map. Not that I
Yep.
very much encourage you practice, it'll burn you out very quickly.
Yep.
It's one though that quite a lot of pubs struggle with because it's quite common to get an ogre and a horde spawn near the
Yep.
start quite often.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait up before we run off at the start. Let's just discuss for a second. Like the main problem with this map is the end sack event. Everyone tries to pick up one sack each and run back to the cart on their own, and then die horribly. Like the best way to do this is to have one or two people carrying the sacks and the other two protecting them. So, depending on how the sacks spawn, you'll go clockwise or anti-clockwise, pushing the sacks all together. So you get two sacks, bring them to the other sacks, get the other sack, bring it to the other sacks, and pile all the sacks up and push them all round as a team. That way it keeps everyone together, because running off on your own, rush intervention, you're going to spawn specials.
Yes, I think there's something I'll try to be
yeah.
covering on this map is the different ways the game has to spawn things. All the different mechanics that spawn enemies in the game. There are a few, but surprisingly not that many. As I've mentioned in Holy Magnus, there's the pacing, there's the specials, there are also the ambience, the boss events, and the map events. Those are the 5 main things that spawn things. There are also this one extra mechanic called Rush Intervention, which punishes you for going off on your own. So pacing, as I've already mentioned as well, is the clan rats that come at you in a small trickle from time to time. And also the hordes that will spawn whenever. The specials are, well, the specials are Globadiers, Backmasters, Gunners, and Assassins that spawn regularly over the course of the map. The ambients are the rats that are standing around as you progress through a map. And Stormvermins as well, occasionally. They are... some maps have more mins than others. Not much to say about them. They're everywhere. And after that, there's the boss events, which are the Stormvermin patrols and the ogres. There are ogres from map events as well, but most long maps will feature boss events that have good ogres in them.
Yeah.
So
for
there
the
are
boss
usually
events, the game literally chooses patrol or ogre. So
Yes.
generally, if you get a patrol spawn, there's not an ogre spawn in that section. And
So on
vice-
that, long maps usually feature 3 slots for potential boss events. Short maps usually don't have any, or feature sometimes 1 slot, like Smuggler's Run. But in any case, a slot for a boss event can roll 3 things. An ogre, a Stormvermin patrol, or nothing. And also, whenever a boss event rolls any of those 3 things, it can also have an addition on top of it of a sack rat. Also, there's a limitation of only rolling an ogre once throughout the map. So at most, you can have on a map an ogre and 2 Stormvermin patrols maximum, since it's like,
yeah.
And sack rat can be on either of those slots. There's also a maximum of 1 sack rat as well.
Yeah. And also with the rush intervention we talk about, the game literally tests constantly through the map how far away you are for the rest of your team.
Yes.
It was called a loneliness
Yes,
factor.
so Rush Intervention is the other way for specials to spawn. The Rush Intervention spawns Backmasters and Assassins specifically, the 2 disablers. And they spawn them and completely individually of the special pacing. So Rush Intervention can spawn things on addition of the special pacing and do not slow it down in any way. So you get bonus specials free of charge, which you probably do not want in any case.
Yep.
So it spawns either an Assassin or a Packmaster to anyone who progresses in the map further on his own alone.
Yep. And then if you deal with them, it spawns a horde.
Yes, there's also, if
Yeah.
you're really far ahead, there's also a small chance that it'll spawn a horde on top of that disabler.
Yep. So, don't run off. Stay with your team.
If
Rule number one.
to note about it, you have to move forward in the map for it to trigger. Moving
Yeah.
backwards in the map alone usually does not trigger it.
Yep.
But you can also move forward on your own during events, to be of note. Like, in this case, on this map specifically, the last event, if you go on your own to that one sack that's far ahead, you will likely trigger rush intervention. Even though you're not quite progressing in the map, you are progressing far in the event. So it can also trigger rush intervention.
Yep.
Another common one that very often will trigger rush intervention in pubs, because it is one that is very common for people to split up on, is Engines of War's barrel event.
Yep.
Going for that far barrel on your own, thinking that nothing will happen. No, you will always invariably spawn a Packmaster or an Assassins because of rush intervention. So let's begin the map.
But one more thing. The sacks. One person can easily carry 2 or 3 sacks by themselves. The way you do it, or the way I do it, is if you move forwards and you just alternate hammering E mouse 1, E mouse 1, E mouse 1, E mouse 1 really quick.
Yes.
You don't even have to look down. You can just walk forward in a straight line with the sacks underneath you, and it will continue to juggle them forwards.
Yep. So you just.
I think those are the kind of tricks, though, that we can cover when we're all actually there. With the ability to demonstrate.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. 2 item drops at the start. One on the
Side here,
left where Grim
in this
is.
case.
There's another one here with a funky jump that I will mess up. And we have our first assassin.
There's also one on the right, on the box over there. That was nothing in this case.
Your clumsiness has a certain charm. Another sneak rat dead.
Give us that.
I've also failed to make a mention of the last mean of spawning things, which are maps event. They are obviously specific to, well, the different maps of the game. They can spawn any array of things, though, and they will do so individually of other things. It can even be ogres. And in some rare cases, specific specials that will always be the same one. Events have the tendency also to disable either pacing or specials, or sometimes both, to keep the map fair, so that you don't hit like extra holes and whatnot on an already tough event. Very few events actually disable specials, but they very often do disable the pacing. As I've mentioned, one of Magnus does have events that disable specials quite a bit. Supply and Demand, though, does not.
The winds turn against me.
Yep, there's sometimes an item drop on that table there. And you can jump into the house.
This was mentioned. I was about just to say that there is an ogre trigger in this house. It is quite frequent to get one.
There you go.
I miss the stench of burning fur.
Normally you want to back up so the ogre lines up with headshots. Watch it.
There's a gutter runner about. Gutter runner.
Ah.
Assassin.
Yep.
If there's a horde there, you probably want to keep backing up and try and kill as much as the horde before you engage the ogre.
Yep.
Back the way you came.
So it is quite frequent as well, because the way the pacing works, the hordes are on a somewhat randomized timer, and there's also a timer by which you will not get one at the beginning of the map. It is quite common for that first timer to line up with the group coming up to that house, so that the ogre spawns at the same time as the horde.
I think we had a couple of extra specials at the start there because we were standing around chatting before we progressed in the map. Because normally you'll sometimes get a special.
Yeah, and
okay, this is a horrible place to find a horde.
the beginning of map's timer is only started once you leave the first safe area. On just about every map, if you stand at the very beginning without moving whatsoever, you usually do not trigger extra spawns.
Yep. I'm gonna go for the Grim, first Grim.
make a marksman of you. A black rat. A challenge at last.
It's down there in that barrel.
Chittering noise. Backstabber.
Black rat approaches.
A bit of trash from behind. Sounds like the gutter's behind. Yep.
Eyes peeled, people.
Another of these black furs comes
So
to
something to
challenge
note that I always do is that to kill a storm vermin, it takes me 4 arrows, which is, I'm just totally rubbish at it. So I will not shoot at storm vermin at all. I'll just ping it, let somebody else kill it. Because if I start shooting at a storm vermin, it makes it move, and it's harder for people with handguns or whatever to get that shot off.
stench. Storm vermin. You made a woman smile with that.
There's an extra heal in that room.
This here, there's usually quite a bit of supplies on the left side here, but if you're pressed on time, you can always just
Heals better
skip
than
it.
tastes. A black
Or
rat.
if your team is
A
already good on
challenge at
supplies as
last.
well. In this case, we do have plenty of healing, but quite a little of other supplies. You will die.
And also something else I think as well is every time you see a storm vermin ping it, especially when you're coming around a corner, because how many times do you come around a corner to immediately get an overhead smack?
Yeah.
Whereas if you ping something, other people can see it's there before they can turn up.
Yeah, because the things show up through walls.
Yeah.
And you won't eat
And yes, one
overhead.
thing as well. Even if you're the one killing the storm vermin itself, sometimes if it's far away or just in the middle of a horde without pinging it, just makes it more visible for you to
Yeah.
shoot it yourself.
If you mess it up, then at least everyone else knows it's there.
And especially in a horde or when everything's on fire, it makes it so easy to see.
That gun will shoot gas.
Right, we've got a patrol
Here's
ahead.
our first patrol.
Packmaster.
The only way to avoid this one would be to drop down and then hide in the corner over there.
Yep.
We should probably do that.
Can
Come to
you
think of it, we
jump
do
over
not have a
time?
string.
You can.
Oh, they're alerted.
That is not quite the way.
Okay.
I'm heading
I
back.
think I might miss him. A little. They march like warriors, but they're still vermin.
Yep. We're gonna have to drop down here. You all right over there, Grim?
I will not be for long.
This is your city, Lumberman.
So in this scenario, I'm pretty much
Yes, I am
useless
dead.
against the storm vermin patrol. So I'm just going to try and make sure that the wizard is not being mobbed by little rats. I'll take out ones with low health.
Right, there's a hook rat somewhere.
He's there.
Push round to me. Oh, there. Ah.
Be more careful, Actionar. I think
Right,
my fire. These black rats fight us.
Okay.
We're in trouble here.
Yep. Can you push past me?
Yep, back round the back.
Oh, you're going that way?
Yep.
Okay. Oh,
Right back around the back way and the grim.
okay. This is horrible.
Blades in the shadows. Assassin rat failed.
We're back on the far side.
My wounds run deep.
Let's go.
This mulch burns my throat.
Damn it.
But you'll have more. Wizard, the head is their weak point.
Yep, you don't want to take patrols lightly.
Yeah.
No stomach for a fair
It's nice though
fight,
to try and get
Dr.
things in a kind of a loop, and you can just keep going around and around and around and
Yeah.
around. I'm going to be over you on the bottom.
Right.
Let's head back.
Ah,
The assassin killed itself.
Watch for stranglers. Will not suffer a cage.
So yes, that's the trolls and ogres, the two boss events, are usually the most two likely things to wipe the group. In this case, our group is also somewhat weak to patrols, since 3 of our ranged weapons are not quite appropriate for them. The only one that is the repeater handgun, and the soldier died first.
Very well. I believed you tougher
The ammo
than
still in the
others,
corner?
wizard.
hook.
See him.
As a general rule of thumb, when things get hectic, do not be afraid to backtrack through a map, since the ambients do not respawn. There will always be less things if you go backwards through a map than there will be if you go forward.
Yep.
So right now,
you
the
have no
backtrack
choice.
is quite substantial way, but there's only like the pacing clan rats right there, and potentially hordes that can come in their way. All over for the long run back to where we are.
Get out of its firing line.
There might still be a heal in here. I'm not
I
sure
think
if
I
anyone
chucked that
took it.
earlier.
Yeah, cool. Okay, we've got a hook.
Ah, he got me. Bad dodge.
Must I free you from those all night? Perhaps once or twice more, wizard. Nothing but ashes and dust.
Likes us, doesn't it?
Yeah, just hold here on the bottom floor. Nice flat ground.
Even a dwarf wouldn't be what's left. You missed one. I have to kill it. Listen, your metal out. Got me good there.
One thing about the Hagbane
Oh, they're here, all right.
is that against hordes in things like that doorway, it's the charged shot, not the light shot, that works.
Yeah, Panda put up a video yesterday showing like Hagbane roll and lots of little tips.
Did
Yeah,
Okay, well, the
so you,
charged shot has a much bigger AoE. You can hit several rats at once. You can pretty much hit, if they're all clumped up, you can hit them all.
These bandages are filthy. Found ammunition for you lot.
yep, you can grab that through the chest.
By the 6 holies!
Something there as well.
So you can jump up,
For
grab stuff.
desperate times only.
Got the heal there if you want it.
Yeah, we got 2 books and a heal, we're fine. Yeah, there's 2 routes here now. There's the one Grimm's going, which is
Which is the
straight up.
fastest one by a long shot,
Yep.
obviously.
But it does skip
But it does like
quite a
2
lot of
chests of
items.
supply. At the same time, if you go up where the soldier
Hey,
was
can I
dead
have a
at
cover
here,
so I can take out that gas rat?
there is also quite a bit of supplies here as well.
Shit, where's the guns?
Good job killing that poison
Yep.
rat.
Oh, that was well drilled in
Not
there.
yet.
Yep.
A good kill.
And as you'll see from
Guess
that,
I
that
need
rat
to
got me
faster.
for 37.5 damage.
Yeah. Hey, wait up, Grim. Just go show off the other items spot.
The amount of damage you take from a rat is dependent on how many rats are like currently targeting you. So because that was the only rat on me, it did 37.5 damage. Whereas if there's more rats, like a horde,
The
each one will do
scaven's
less.
faster than it looks.
That's why it's always that one that pokes you from the back that murders you.
One less assassin to
Yep.
worry about.
Follow me. This way. The rotting lung.
Get clear.
Through the door!
Another vermin falls. They've not given up? Not yet.
This section here has multiple routes and it changes depending on playthrough. On another run, you'll end up
there's two.
in the other area.
This way.
There's a few item drops back here.
They're usually quite slow items to take, and you only take them if you're desperate.
It's all from behind us.
Yep. The horde's all over here.
Soon be rid of the vermin with you here.
Hook rep.
This way. There's a bomb here.
We're going to go hard left on this route, Grim.
A good shot.
Generally the safer route is this one because you've got a wall behind you.
You can come over the wall though.
Generally, either right or left are both valid choices.
Yep.
Middle is less of one, since
Yep.
well, fighting in the middle is generally poor.
Storm vermin.
So gas ahead, I think.
You don't look good, sir. Stop meandering and get down here. Listen,
One eye. Have you only one leg as well?
watch your tongue, Elbow. I'm not trying to...
The cutter's behind us. I need cover to get it.
Sigmar's teeth. What was that?
You need
Really?
to learn, vermin.
Really?
There's a hint of finesse in that kill. Come on, down here.
I know my health regen is strong, but it doesn't erase white health.
Oh, sorry.
Feels
Yeah.
better than it tastes.
If you need a heal, always be passive aggressive towards your teammates.
Yeah, I'm just not used to carrying.
Too much magic.
I never take heal shots, I'm just
The
so
vermin
used to it.
hide well. Their stench does not.
I thought you had a special kind of bloodlust though.
Yeah.
Like you unlocked it.
More storm vermin. Is there no end to them?
That's where the Grim is. You'll take full damage.
I'll
from
try not to
there.
lose this one. We did unfortunately lose the first one since
Yeah.
I died to a disabler in the middle of a patrol.
Yeah.
Potions here.
It was one of those teaching moments where if there's a drop down, make sure your entire team is together for the drop down before dropping down, or you get split up like
Yes,
that.
I was mostly mentioning that the way
Yeah.
to avoid the patrol would have been to hide in the corner after
Yeah.
the drop down, but we were too
Yeah.
slow to do it.
Yeah. So in that way, you would
We're
have.
on the right path.
If you're too slow, you backtrack all the way back down the hill, back down the granary, and then hide off to like the room on the side. This is your last chance to grab
What's worth,
healing and
what was
stuff.
noted in here is if someone spawns down here, you can stand on this box here, jump, and the person above can actually pop a healing onto you.
Yep.
You have to stand on the lid and just keep jumping there until they get it.
Yep. You can sit there and heal them through the floor.
Skaven gunner.
So you have to note that there are no supplies whatsoever once you pass through the last event.
Yep.
So those 4 healings are the last thing
Yeah.
you'll get.
There's a bit of trash coming.
I think we can go forward. They'll
Yeah.
get caught up in the door.
This.
You led the hand. I will
About everything spawns. The sacks always spawn in different locations.
And we're well spread out this time.
In this place, I say we go hard left and then move the sacks round.
Oh, worthy strike. But must you
So instead of everyone running off in their own little world,
when they come,
we'll
leave some
push
for
together.
me.
Stuck.
Hey, slow it down a bit, guys, because we got a horde on us.
So in that instance, I saw 2 players. I was at the back, and I saw 2 players go left.
Hey, guys, you're carrying a sack each.
I saw Grim go right, so I followed Grim, so that it wasn't a 3-1 split, and it didn't trigger rush intervention.
Yep.
You never want to try and leave one player on their own.
Yep. Yep.
In events like this, 2-2 splits can be beneficial to speed things up, but
Yeah.
not 3-1 or not everyone for himself.
Shoot me dead! Ha!
Yeah. Can anyone ping that gas rat?
He's in the room, the spawn room.
Not gas rat.
Back on the gun,
damn
yeah.
We're
Okay, wait,
3-1
don't
right now,
run
by the
off,
way.
or you're going to trigger more.
Gun is dead.
I'm with you.
6. And the easy way to move around the map is across these awnings. So even if there's a sack spawned all the way up there, you don't need to hit the ground once. And there's me spawning Russian.
It says here, right at the end here, demonstration of doing 2 at a time. It is harder to do with a high ping. The time is a bit more.
We've lost a
obnoxious.
soldier, guys, and we got a hook rat incoming. Back up to me, scum hard. Get behind me.
The wagon's about a quarter full. They're gnawing my bones. The main
Stand still,
pack will be
soldier.
here any moment. They think sheer numbers will prevail.
Better to be safe than sorry.
And sometimes it is beneficial to stand still, because if you're trying to pass an item to somebody or heal them and they're dancing around all over the place in the middle of everyone else, it can be really hard to pick them out of a group.
Yeah. A bomb would be great now. Yeah. Quite clean. At the end it was a bit messy, but that was
Minus
because
the
of the
land.
way the sacks spawned.
Minus the loss of the Grimoire, obviously.
Yeah. That's the thing, even with an experienced team, one patrol or special or event can ruin a run.
That position's horrible anyway. The number of face patrols you get there is ridiculous.
Sometimes if you go under, you'll get a patrol spawn on your face. If you go through the big door, you'll get a patrol spawn in your face.
And because you can't back up, it's just, no matter what you do, it's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last time I did the map, that exactly happened to me. The petrol was spawning when I was coming
Yeah.
around the corner, and that's like just fun. I wasn't even taking damage. That was quite a coincidence. I was just lucky.
That's the time to pop a strength and throw some bombs.
Yeah.
Since in our case, our group is very powerful against Ogre, but somewhat vulnerable against patrols if the soldier dies.
Yep. Okay, I'm just grabbing a glass of water. I'll be right back.
Back in a sec as well.